This meeting of the Tyler ISD Board of Trustees is called to order. The presence of a quorum has been established, and the meeting has been duly called, and the notice of the meeting has been posted in the time and manner required. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. We have public participation first, and I don't think anybody has signed up. Now we have a redistricting presentation, and I think Marty, do you have anything to say ahead of that? Dr.
Just
Crawford?
introducing Philip as he comes up to the podium. We appreciate the work that Mendez or David Mendez and his firm and his associates have provided during this process. We're almost to the end of it. It's been a fairly simple process from our end, and appreciate that, the work that they've done.
All right. Well, what you got?
Thank you all. Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay. We have on your screen right now is what we call Illustrative Plan 1. So as you recall from the last time I came here, last time we drew, we came with Plan A. This is that Plan A. We just called it Illustrative Plan 1 for publication purposes. Since then, we have looked at, I believe, a Plan B that had some changes that I understand is we no longer really want to consider. And then a combination of the two, so we're calling it Plan A Revised. So it's taking two things from that Plan B and incorporating them into the Plan A. So I just wanted to start with Illustrative Plan 1 and show you what we ended up with at our last drawing session. And then Josh, if you could move to the Plan A Revised or Revised Plan A, and I believe it's in Edge is where he has it. Oh, here we go. So this is Revised Plan A. So the change we made from Plan A to Revised Plan A is, Josh, if you could zoom in, could you pull it up in Edge? That may be easier to look at. Essentially what we did was we took, there was voting precinct, what was the number, Josh? Was it 73, is that right? 73, that was up in kind of the western central part where districts 2, 3, and 4 intersect. And let me let Josh do his thing for a second. Okay. So up here,
on your front map, top left.
So here we have election precinct 73. There you can see it in the black letters. That was partially divided between districts. I'm having trouble reading. What's the green? Is that
3?
3? Okay. Mm-hmm. 3 and 4. And so now it is all in 4. And that leaves the road as the boundary there.
Oh, okay.
Josh, can you zoom in on that northern boundary? And that is
64.
okay.
Highway 64.
Highway 64. So that establishes Highway 64 as the northern of 4 and the southern boundary of 3. So that was one change we made. The other change we made was in the south, where District 6, as you recall, kind of has a jog around 7 in order to connect. So if we could zoom in down there, Josh, and show. So these do connect. 6 does connect. The problem is, and as we talked about before, the census geography, the census map essentially, does not line up perfectly with the map you all provided us that we get from the appraisal district and from the school board. That leads to just this gap that is there but doesn't look like it's there. So we have drawn this so 6 connects, but what I want to do is look at 2 as well, making this more defined, because I think this is an area of concern, at least for the public, if not for you all, is to look at, Josh, if you could highlight a block there. So that's a census block. And because the census block, the way it is cut, because of the census geography, it doesn't line up. We could take this block, or, and some blocks around it if you want to make it clean along the road, and put those into 6, and see what that looks like. And that would give us a bigger connection to connect 6 in a more clearly defined way, as opposed to having kind of the sliver that exists today and would exist under the revised Plan A. So we could do something like this. Or Josh, can you connect everything maybe south of the road there and put that into 6 as well?
Yeah, looking at the block structure, this one that we just moved over follows a natural river
Okay.
or some kind of creek or stream here. Unfortunately, the next one here goes past the road.
I see. Okay. So we can go in and cut this census block. It's possible. It's not ideal. It's something that's in the criteria you all passed, that we will try to avoid cutting census blocks if we can. It's not always possible. And so we can clean this up and make it along the road if you want. We could do something like this, or kind of put that census block that Josh just put into 6 back into 7, and kind of leave that bridge the way we had it, which is a small, narrow connection. So those are the options to kind of connect 6 at the bottom. Josh, could you put that block back into 6 again? I'm sorry. And I just want to see how it affects. So the deviation's the same. It doesn't change the deviation. Your deviation is still 8.65%. So it will put you, it keeps the district in balance for one person, one vote purposes. So those are kind of the options. We can maybe even take a little bit more from 7 and put into 6 if you want to look at that.
Does anybody from 6 or 7 have any preference? I do have a question on, so it's just a mapping issue. There is a gap, there is a connector, but just on this particular map, that connector doesn't show.
Correct.
Yeah.
We have to manually go in and draw it, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. So it goes down to the red block, right?
Right. And I apologize, I'm not as studied in GIS to speak about this at a really expert level. Josh is a GIS, has a degree in GIS, so he can speak to it better than I can. But even better than Josh is Sherry McCall in our office, who's been doing this for 40 years. And I've had a lot of discussions with her about it. David has as well. And she assures us that from a mapping perspective, it's fine. It's just that this software and the way the census blocks are cut, it just creates an issue here that she has to go in and manually fix it.
The 2 parcels just don't match up perfectly.
Correct.
Yeah. So we could either keep it the same as it always was, or for the last 10 years, or if 6 and 7 want to kind of broaden it and make it bigger.
And we could look, Josh, could you select that census block again, and we can see how many people are in it? So we have, it's 221, is that right, Josh?
That's correct.
So 221 people live in this census block. We can zoom in on it and do a different layer if you want to see how many houses are there. We can do more of a satellite view, however you want to view it.
I would like to see that first slide that you did. I need to see that little area really, really close.
Okay, so the illustrative plan 1?
You're positive. Okay, then it's okay.
Can you put floodplain on that? Do you have an overlay for the floodplain?
I do not have a floodplain overlay on this.
Yeah, it's it's all that area to the east of Jack Elementary, and so you're dividing a neighborhood.
Take his word.
Well,
Yeah, if you change it.
Well, I think the way it is dividing a
It
neighborhood.
is.
So everything
Oh, it is right.
east and west of that highlighted block is currently in 6, and the highlighted block is currently in 7. So if the highlighted block goes to 6,
okay.
I
I see
think
what
that
you're
would be
saying. Yeah.
unifying the neighborhood
Yeah, if you want the neighborhood all the same, then
to the extent we can. So we, again, have some
6.
geography issues there with the creek and the road, and there may be some people in there, right, and that kind of, maybe we call it a peninsula there, that 7 comes down. But Josh, if you could put on the satellite again, base layer.
Wonder how quickly the Jenna stuff's gonna repopulate the numbers on that. I mean, they're already starting to come
about
in.
the floodplain, right?
Yeah, I just didn't know how much of that is developable down there with the floodplain, because I know it runs through there, through a lot of that, so they may not be able to do a whole lot more.
Probably not, because there's a nature preserve that kind of butts up next to the or the creek bottom. You can almost see that little tract right there to the little strand right there, the little meadow looking to the east, to the right of that neighborhood, the bottom.
Josh, could you go to the north a little bit? So it does look undeveloped right now. I don't know, to your point, if it's a developable area, if it's in a floodplain.
It's, most of their stuff is north of Cumberland, straight north from here.
Okay, so it's not on that side.
And they're developing in District 7 now on the west side of Old Jacksonville as well, so. And 6 does have a lot of room south to develop further as well. I'm indifferent, really, for District 7. I like the idea of unifying the neighborhood. I'm fine with that. My population is a little over anyway, isn't it?
I believe so. Josh, can we see what the population of District 7 is? I can't see the chart. There we go. So slightly over 1.75%, not much.
Not much.
Yeah,
So that would,
300 people.
Pretty minimal, Lindsay, do you care either way?
This is, I mean, no, it's taken from Cindy, so.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
I don't see it as an issue, really.
Okay.
I mean,
Just
I'm
leave it
just
how it
gonna
was?
leave it how it is. If
All right.
it doesn't matter to anybody anyway, and let's move on.
All right, let's leave it how it is. It's good with everybody? Okay.
Okay. So Josh, put that census block back into 7, the way it was. And so then Plan A,
I do have
I guess-
one question before we
Yes, sir.
move on from that issue. I just want to make sure, I know you guys are on top of this, but I don't want there to be some group 10 years from now that looks at this map and, because y'all aren't our attorney anymore, and they think there's no connection there. Can we get the issue fixed? Or do y'all just manually fix it and that's part of the record?
yes, sir. My understanding is Sherry will go in and manually fix it.
Okay.
And so the map
So what
will,
we
it
approve-
will connect.
We'll
At
connect,
the
because
end,
this
it's
one
just-
still doesn't.
Yes, sir, and it's this map. So it's this particular program in geography that's not matching up with the census geography. But she has a way of going in there. Apparently, I think it's in a different program, a different mapping software that allows her to basically fix the boundary issue.
All right.
Okay,
On the
and
final map, there will be a connection, a green portion right below the goal that's evident to the visible eye.
Yes, sir. So, Josh, can we go back to Illustrative Plan 1 in that inset, the PDF you had up a minute ago? Okay, so zoom in on the inset there. So it'll be like this, is what it'll look like.
And Philip, I just wanted to mention one thing to note, that also with this, the ISD, we need to make sure that when they create their ISD boundaries, they need to bring their line to also match this. But, talking about future developments, I do believe this whole area south here is the nature reserve. I think it's this hike and bike path here that kind of goes into this neighborhood. So everything south of this neighborhood, I don't know if they can develop that or not. And it would unify that neighborhood, moving it over, and also solve the land bridge issue for any other entities with Tyler ISD or Tyler City, anyone looking at it. But we could do it either way.
So we can send you this map with and without that change and let you consider them too. We don't have to make a decision today if you want to think about it. We have, these maps are very, very similar, and the changes are minor, so they're easy to do. So we can keep, this revised Plan A, which is what we're looking at right now, with the bridge connecting 6 being narrow, but unifying voting precinct 73 like we did in the north central part of the district. And we could do an option where we move that census block over to District 6 and then keep voting precinct 73 unified. If y'all want kind of a couple of options there to consider. As far as right now, we can look at any other changes you want to too, just kind of around the district.
Going back to the original one on the first page. Still good? The 2 and 3. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, sorry. I was making sure he was still good.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
Okay. Going back to the original one on the front page, the 2 and 3 and 4, could you give us a close-up on that?
Yes, sir. The voting precinct 73?
Right.
Yes, sir. Josh, could you zoom in on that?
Because I know Ms. Atkins lives in that area, and so does Ms. Dr. Nation. So I was just trying to make sure that.
Miss Atkins' house is that red dot. Don't you have red dots signifying where?
Yes, sir. I believe so. Well, I know so, and we have, they should be labeled, so we could turn the name on if you like, but.
I see over here, but,
You see
yeah,
Poland?
see, I see it now.
Okay. And that's okay.
Can we do the overlay with the satellite view, street view, just so you can see your houses? And then let's let Dr. Nation
I see it, it's
go ahead and
good.
zoom on in.
Okay.
Yours is getting added to, really, so.
Okay, could you zoom in on the red dot a little bit, Josh?
Yeah, let me try to put the label on it as well. I'm just trying to see.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, and 4, okay.
not current red dot. It'll be new red dot, right?
Oh, I see. Is it not where you currently live, but, okay, understood. All right, well, what do you want to zoom
They've
into?
got it. They've
Yeah,
got that
that's-
address, and we saw it the last meeting, I think we were,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's a red dot. I don't know where it went. Does that look like your house?
It's my
Is that right there on that corner of that big piece of property at Dixie? Because that's the Dixie right there, and then there's that big field next to it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking into 4, actually, Josh. Is there any labeling in that area? Where exactly should we zoom into?
Go right back to where you were, and then just a little to the west, and there's a street called
Poland.
Poland, P-O-L-L-A-N-D.
Hey, no D. P-O-L-L-A-N. But I saw it already. I'm
P-O-L-L-A-N.
good.
Yep, there it is. So we're still in
Yeah.
the right district, and we're good.
Okay.
Yep, good on that. Anybody else have any questions or comments for
And the
Mr.
only
Phillip?
thing on that 6 and 7 deal is just splitting that neighborhood, and what does that mean if we do keep it split for,
Mhm.
I mean, for elections and stuff like that, like, is it gonna be difficult? Does it matter? Does it get different? Maybe.
I just, in the big picture, I don't think anybody cares. I mean, we could I don't care. To me, it's just easier to move on, but if we want to switch it, we can. Can't think, I mean, 2 people from the same neighborhood could run for school board, and, the rest of the district wouldn't be represented. There's things like that, but short of that, I don't know that there's really any benefit or not. So either way, I thought I had more people in my district. I thought I was bigger. But, since I'm not,
No, that would adjust the numbers.
and I didn't look and see what your numbers were.
It was like 18.9.
So you were already,
Over 19.
yeah. So if I had more numbers, I would see the benefit of it, but I don't.
Well, if 6 and 7 are comfortable with it, then
Okay.
fine by me. Anybody else have any questions or comments? As long as we can get the map as it shows in the inset,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes.
we'll be good. We're good? Okay. Do you have anything else aside from those 2 things?
No, sir. I think if we will get this map as is, so we'll leave 6 essentially the way it is, the boundary between 6 and 7 the way it is. We'll move precinct 73 all into 1. We will call this Illustrative Plan 2 and send it to you all. And then let you all consider it. And then, Gina, I'm not sure when we're set to adopt off the top of my head. On December 13th, okay. So we can have it all ready to adopt on the 13th. And we can get you all the documents you need, and then we can be here if you need us to or not. It's essentially just passing a resolution order. It's not complicated, but we can certainly be here to answer questions.
Board, why don't y'all go ahead and let them know now if you'd expect them to be here at that meeting, since I appreciate y'all being here today. I think you're
Yes,
supposed to,
sir.
are you supposed to be in Laredo tomorrow?
Yes, sir. It's all right. I did it to myself. It's not your fault.
As y'all can imagine, our partners with the firm, because of the condensed timeline, have a lot of entities that they're serving. And we appreciate them giving us their attention. So if you might want to give them some guidance here, if you'd like to.
I think
So we can be here in person, we can attend remotely, we can, not attend at all. I mean, we have clients doing it every which way, so
Yeah. I mean,
whatever you're comfortable
I
with.
think due to just the minimal nature of our changes and everybody being so agreeable, I don't think you need to spend too much more time on Tyler ISD. I'm sure there's some other districts that are requiring more attention than us. So remote is fine by me. If we have any last second questions in our main meeting, unless anybody else objects to that. And the other part of this is I don't think any public has come in, but there is a public kind of hearing and commentary, but I do not believe any public is here to do so. So we've checked that one off the list. Okay. Well, we do appreciate you coming, and it looks like a good enough plan for us.
Okay, thank you all very much. Let us know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Phil. Okay. All right. Well, now we will go into executive session.